Hi, everybody. Hey, can you hear me? Okay right now? Yeah. Cool. What wasn't mentioned in my bio just now is that I'll be returning to Boston in an apartment with a bed, both purchased through Craigslist, as well as a desk, and we'll sometimes think on a 15-month relationship I once had through Craigslist. So there are so many things that have happened in my life because of Craigslist. So Harry Potter. I mean, let's get serious, right? People always chuckle when they first hear the words Harry Potter Alliance, and what the hell is that? Well, here it is. This is our website, thehpalliance.org. I think Hewlett Packard took hpalliance.org. I was a latecomer to Harry Potter. I was a latecomer to YouTube, latecomer to MySpace, latecomer to podcasting. Now I'm somehow considered by some an expert on all of these things, which is a weird feeling. I started reading Harry Potter books, and who has read Harry Potter? Okay, cool. I started reading the Harry Potter books after college in 2002, and I was, besides my own personal love for these stories and the fact that the kids I was teaching at the time were all into the Harry Potter, I began seeing parallels between Harry's world and our world. We start off with this idea of going past what I call the Muggle mindset, where normalcy is the highest aspiration, and saying that I'm not perfectly normal, thank you very much. The books open with two characters who say they're perfectly normal, thank you very much. Then we get into race in Harry Potter, around what kind of blood you have with magic. Then we get into an issue where Professor Lupin has to hide his identity because he's a werewolf. He has to be in the closet, if you will, because he's a werewolf. Hagrid has to hide his identity as a half-giant. He's in the closet. Harry is literally forced to live inside of a closet for 11 years because of his identity. So we have gay rights parallels. Sirius Black, Harry's godfather, is arrested at the time of terror, thrown into prison without trial, suspension of habeas corpus, and tortured by Dementors, which Dumbledore, who's sort of the model of, well, in a sense, wisdom, is fundamentally opposed to. Voldemort returns, and no one pays attention to it. The government does not pay attention to it, and the media, which is completely consolidated, goes along in lockstep with the government and begins a campaign of defamation of anyone and everywhere, including Dumbledore and Harry, who claim that Voldemort had returned. So Harry has to start a student activist group, an underground activist group that he calls Dumbledore's Army, which ends up waking the world up to the fact that Voldemort has returned. I googled Dumbledore's Army, and there was nothing except a bunch of fan sites saying, "We love Dumbledore." And so I thought, well, what if we had a Dumbledore's Army for the real world? And I began looking at the multitude of Harry Potter fan sites that are out there, and came across this one. The biggest Harry Potter fan site in the world is MuggleNet.com. It boasts 170,000 unique visitors per day. Now, at the time, I had, it's loaded, I guess. At the time, I had seen Hotel Rwanda and was listening to John Prendergast, a celebrated international activist, speak about Darfur. This was back in 2005. In June 2005, the genocide in Darfur June 2005, Michael Jackson, Tom Cruise, and The Runaway Bride. Remember that story about The Runaway Bride? For those who don't remember, she's the bride ran away. They received 50 times, more than 50 times, the news coverage of the genocide in Darfur, a genocide that could be stopped if there was the political will to stop it. However, there clearly was not the political will to stop it. Most people didn't even know it was actually happening, or the CIA had declared the government of Sudan partners in the war on terror, while the Sudanese government issued one of the greatest campaigns of terror in the history of humanity, and continues to in the western region of Darfur. John Prendergast was saying, I need an outside-the-box idea to win hearts and minds about Darfur. CBS Evening News didn't even report on it once in June of 2005. I ran up to him afterwards at this conference and said, John, you want an outside-the-box idea? I have an outside-the-box idea. If we go to MuggleNet.com, we can just say, screw you, CBS Evening News. We got 170,000 unique visitors per day. Not only do we cover it, we cover it in an adequate way. We partner with activist organizations and say we're Dumbledore's Army for the real world. Dumbledore's Army woke the world up to Voldemort's return. We're going to wake the world up to the genocide in Darfur, and we're going to do it right, and it's going to happen. He was like, dude, I grew up like reading comic books, and that's why I became an activist. So he put me in a book that he co-wrote with Don Cheadle called Not on Our Watch, The Mission to End Genocide in Darfur, which is a bestseller now. I encourage you all to read it. At that same time, I met up with a band called Harry and the Potters. They're two brothers who are indie rock musicians who were like, let's start a band about Harry Potter. And actually people liked it, and they just performed in libraries, making libraries cool. Crazy. And then in response to that, a couple guys started a band called Draco and the Malfoys. They're sort of the band guys. So while Harry and the Potters saying Voldemort can't stop the rock, Draco and the Malfoys saying, my dad is rich and your dad is dead. My dad. And anyway. Okay, 5 minutes. So we had over 400 wizard rock bands. We took on media consolidation recently with Rocking Out Against Voldemort in partnership with the Stop Big Media Alliance. Here's Gred and Forge.
Do you vomit when you open the paper? Are you sick from what the prophet's gonna say? Are you paralyzed by the ministry's lies? It'd be nice to get some real news today. They're not telling the truth. Here's what we can do. Say no!
Okay, so there's that. Rocking Out Against Voldemort is a conference with 10 wizard rock bands singing about media consolidation in the wizarding world, and then we compare it to media consolidation in our world. It was tremendously successful, and we have media rights activists now, not only in the US, but all over the world, thanks to this. One of our podcasts on Darfur was downloaded over 110,000 times. We threw house parties in conjunction with our anti-genocide partners on 4 different continents. The Student Anti-Genocide Organization STAND saw a 40% increase in high school chapter signups the second half of July last year compared to the first half of July, and 53% increase in calls to 1-800-GENOCIDE the second half of July compared to the first half of July. This all started with MySpace. The Harry Potter Alliance, I would just write about stuff, action alerts, compare things to the real world in Harry Potter, how we could be like Harry and Dumbledore's Army and do something about it. Harry and the Potters would repost it. They have over 90,000 MySpace friends. Draco and the Malfoys would repost it. Suddenly we're reaching an audience of over 100,000. Then MuggleNet reposts things, and it's crazy. And then suddenly, the real media, quote unquote, whatever the hell they are, the real media, starts reporting on us doing stuff around Darfur, and suddenly Darfur is in the news, which is really weird. So we've been in Time Magazine, and in the LA Times, front cover of Politico, front cover of Chicago Tribune business section, and what I call this is cultural acupuncture. You know, if you go into an acupuncturist and you are sick because you're an alcoholic, and he puts you on the bed, he's not going to say, you stupid son of a bitch, why are you drinking so much alcohol? That's not what he's going to do. He's not going to complain and yell at you. He's going to say, where is your energy? Let me move it around by pressure. And that's effective, by moving the energy around. Now here we are with a sick culture, a culture that if it was a mind would be diagnosed and thrown into a mental hospital like that so quickly. We can't just stand here and say, you stupid son of a bitch culture, because we're all part of it. What we need to do is find where the psychic energy is. Where is the energy? And then we shift that energy and we make a much healthier culture. Fortunately, Harry Potter is the most well-read piece of fiction in the history of humanity, and it's all about how love can transform the world. For me, this is step 1. I'm moving on to sports soon, which I know And I think that's my time. I have a rap that I normally close with, but during the question and answer, I might get to that. So thank you very much.